Hi everyone, Dr. Bruno here. In addition to our lecture for this week, I wanted to provide some guidance on how to select a research topic. This isn't so important for our journey in the Introduction to Research Methods course, but it is important to realize that this course is the first of a three-part sequence that's going to end and culminate with a course-based undergraduate research experience. And so I wanted to sort of think with the end in mind and to help provide some guidance about how students should be thinking about research, how to engage, become part of the research enterprise, and how to move forward as best we can at this stage of the course. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in. So naturally, the first thing you might be asking yourself is, what is a course-based undergraduate research experience? What a CURE is, as its acronym provides, is it is an opportunity for students to leverage the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you learn and gain in this course, Research Methods, that you apply in HSCI 345, the Statistics for Health Sciences course, and that you demonstrate and create as an experiential learning opportunity with a real-world research project. And so on the slide, as you can see here, there are some examples of what a course-based undergraduate research experience can be. But at its core, what it provides students in the major with is an opportunity to engage in authentic research, to collaborate with both your peers as well as a faculty mentor, to integrate knowledge, skills, and abilities that you've gained throughout the curriculum, and to apply and refine those skill sets with mentor training as part of the experience. What we found in both times that we've offered the course is that it really culminates into this really worthwhile and valuable experience for students that graduate and move through the program. What some of the real world benefits of a CURE are really at its core that it provides students with more than what you learn in a textbook, right? It allows you to enhance your learning experience by gaining a deeper, more mastery level experience of the subject matter that you're learning about in a real world hypothetical situation, right? And that is at the core of what Drexel experiential learning is all about. So it's about enhancing and going beyond the textbook to allow students to engage actively with a real world research project as opposed to something that you make up for the purpose of a class, and to have some real skill sets that we can add to your resume or your curriculum vitae that really, I think, makes Drexel graduates stand out compared to other graduates that are applying for positions, co-ops, graduate programs, et cetera, in the field. And so we think that by integrating and having this new model of what an undergraduate research experience is, it's not only fulfilling the mission of A.J. Drexel with experiential learning, but it's also helping students prepare for the next step with their career preparation. So here's a couple of examples of what a CURE program looks like. Some students in the past have been interested in exploring the effects of physical activity and mental health outcomes. Some folks in the nutrition science majors have been interested in nutritional interventions with athletic performance. Some folks have been interested in sleep, exercise, and cardiovascular health. And some folks that are interested in physical therapy have interest in not only technology and fitness, but also in injury prevention and rehabilitation. So here's a couple of examples of what students in the past have done and what could be done as part of your undergraduate research experiences here at Drexel. Why am I showing you this slide? I'm showing you this slide because this is what students have been able to do with their undergraduate research experience. Here are 6 students that have all participated in the program at different levels. From Michaela McGrath in the upper left-hand corner there, where she presented her research at the Pannoni Honors College Week of Undergraduate Excellence, to Parina Dapani in the upper center graph, where she was doing some work with secondary data analysis from NHANES, to Stephanie Beater, a recent graduate of the program, who also used the CKD meta-analysis project as part of her experience. And so what's possible with undergraduate research is not just fulfilling the criteria for the purposes of engaging in a program, but it's really providing students with opportunities to go outside the bounds of Drexel and to really showcase your skill sets and experiences gained with other students from other universities and collaborators that you interface with. right? And so, what my vision, what my hope is for all of you is that you'll become inspired from this course and the research methods course. You'll be able to find a mentor, someone that you really resonate with, and that you too can have one of these types of experiences that really adds to your skill sets and showcases what it is that it means to be a graduate of Drexel. And so then I also think it helps to understand how we got here and why this course based undergraduate research experience came to be. I think it helps to understand that at the university, it really all started at the Pannoni Honors College. And for each of the four bullets that you see here on the slide, the Pannoni Honors College offers a Star Scholars program, which is typically offered for first year students in the summer of their sort of vacation freshman year. There's also vertically integrated projects, which are collaborative based projects with the School of Biomedical Engineering. But unfortunately, that's really a small number of students that participate in those kinds of projects. There's also the Supernova program, which is designed to provide students from underrepresented backgrounds with opportunities to have early research experiences. But really, again, it's sort of a program that is offering a lot of different ways for different pockets of students across the university. But we really thought about as a one opportunity for all students to be more inclusive and to provide every Drexel grad in our programs with the opportunity to have a research experience was to design this course-based undergrad research experience. And so the intent, while we fully engage and support students that want to engage in the Star Scholar program, that want to find and participate in vertically integrated projects, and who are interested in the Supernova program, the cure for us is something that we found that is inclusive for all students in the program and can provide every Drexel grad with the opportunity to have a meaningful undergraduate research experience that provides them with experiential learning opportunities for the future. So that's how we got here. And as I've mentioned, this is the first course of a 3-part sequence. Our journey for the rest of the term is going to be going through the content of research methodology. And at the conclusion of this class, I think you'll be in a better position to be able to find a mentor, have a better sense of what kinds of research you might be interested in. And that'll really set you up for success well when you prepare to take the Stats 345 Statistics for Health Sciences course. Some of you, as I mentioned, may have already taken Stats 345 before research methods, which is completely fine. But know that in the future, once we sort of continue to run the cycle of these courses for the future, all students that come through all programs in the Department of Health Sciences will eventually take 310 first, then 345 second, and then end with that culminating experience of 450, which is offered both in the winter as well as the summer academic terms each year. And so, to provide a little bit of course structure for HSCI 450 when you're there, it's really providing students with an opportunity to work directly with a mentor, perhaps work in a pair or in a team-based environment, and to use applied learning strategies to have real-world research experiences in those settings. Some students have akined it to participating in a research-based co-op during their enrollment here at Drexel, and it's done predominantly through guided discovery techniques. What does that mean? That means that it's not a yes or no answer. It's not something that you necessarily can find in the textbook. Instead, it is something that students gain a better appreciation and mastery for by going through the iterative process of trying something, exploring something, struggling perhaps a little bit with something, getting some more mentoring guidance, and then reporting all of those experiences as a final culminating presentation at the Undergraduate Research Showcase. So I often like to show students this undergraduate research symposium / showcase when I was an undergraduate. So directly in the center of the slide, you see there's a gentleman with a blue shirt, and that's Dr. Steve Vitti. You might have had him in maybe your anatomy and physiology labs before. And I'm also in this room. I'm all the way to the right with the sport coat looking at the camera, probably rewinding the clock somewhere around 13 to 15 years ago. And the reason why I show this is because our inspiration for the undergrad research showcase at Drexel really came from our own undergraduate research experiences, where you can see everybody from the major came. You had Dr. Frank Frangione, who was standing towards the side of the wall there with the suit and the sport coat on. And it was really become something that is celebrated every single year as part of their program. And so we want to ensure that members of our class also have that same type of awesome learning and research-based experience that we can use to set the future of the health sciences program and the exercise science programs in the department. And so as I provide some suggestions for you as you're preparing to go through the rest of this course in undergraduate research, is to start thinking about what made you decide to come to Drexel, right? Every single one of you came for probably a different reason. A large majority might have come for co-op. Some people might have come for the experiential learning piece, but really it's a unique and individual personal decision. At the same time, I think it's helpful to think about what courses have you already taken? What professors have you already had in the program that have motivated and have inspired you to really have interest in whether it's content that professor taught or specific research that particular professor does. These are the kind of areas to help you identify the fit of the kind of research experience or who you would like to do your research experience with as part of the program. I also recommend talking with your academic advisor. They are not only there to help you identify courses that you need to take each term and to make sure that your degree works is progressing along the program timeline, but it's also helpful because they can connect you with some instructors, not only within the College of Nursing and Health Professions, but across the university as well. And so having them as a backbone and as a resource is really helpful because they can help you identify researchers across the university who are doing the kind of work that you have interest in. And then lastly, before we sort of walk you through a process of what you could do to find a researcher, is I want you to think about what is the feasibility and practicality, how much time are you willing to invest in that particular research project? Because while some projects might seem really interesting up front, they might require tens of hours of work behind the scenes that you're not as really excited about. And so keeping these things in mind is really important as we continue to move forward with the research experience. Okay, let's now talk a little bit about how to find a faculty mentor. So to find a faculty mentor, I highly recommend everybody check out Forager One. Think of it like a Match.com website where students who are interested in research areas and research personnel can be matched with people who are conducting that research that are looking for students like yourself to participate in their labs. I'm showing you on the slide my specific Forager One platform, and you can see it has a lot of my profile, my information. It has some of the available projects that we're conducting in the lab at this point in time. And students can use keywords and search terms to identify areas of research that they have interest in, and then you can message and you can request an interview to talk further about gaining some experience in that person's lab. And so if you're kind of know the area that you want to be in, or you know who you like to work with, the next step would be messaging them on Forager One, trying to set up a time to introduce yourself, learn a little bit more about the work that they're doing and how you might be able to participate in a research experience with them. And so Forager One is a great platform to do that. So then, as we're wrapping everything up, I think some of the things to think about meeting with that faculty mentor is what are some criteria that you can use to select a research topic? And Tuckman provides us with some really exciting ways of doing this. The first thing is workability, really, and that's all about, is this project and the scope of your involvement within the limits and range of resources that you have, right? How much time can you dedicate to this project? Do you have the skills and abilities today? Are you willing to take the time and energy that's necessary to get the skills if you don't have them? And are there sufficient resources to complete the study within the project timeline? Secondly, do you have access to the kind of sample that you're looking to explore? If you're doing something with mouse models and the person that you're working with doesn't have access to mouse models, you're not going to be able to really have as much of a research experience. It's not going to be as enriching as it otherwise could be if you worked with someone who had access to mouse models, right? And so making sure that you have access to the population of interest for your research project is equally important. Another thing to think about is the idea of critical mass. Is the problem that you're trying to solve as part of your research experience impactful enough, and is it sufficient in magnitude and scope enough that you will continue to be motivated to see that project through the end? Are there enough variables to really capture the essence of the problem? If your first order of magnitude question is unsuccessful, do you have other variables that you can ask, you can address to try and get insight in terms of how to solve that problem? Because the last thing I think that you want to do is put a lot of time and effort into a project and find that there really wasn't much difference or much of an effect at all, right? So think about impact. The third thing is interest, right? You're interested today, but will you have persistent interest in that area over time? Does your background, does your experience, does your parents' background experience, right? Are these the kind of things that you want to be doing? What motivated you to want to get into this in the first place? Are you willing to continue to have as much interest in it when you've spent 100 plus hours over the course of a 10-week term that you did on the first day you first learned about the project, right? So these are important things to think about. And then lastly is the theoretical value, right? Does the research question address a gap in knowledge or a limitation in the literature? Do other experts in the field feel that it's important? Does it contribute to the advancement of your field? Does it improve the state of the art of how we practice, let's say, exercise science and sports medicine, right? And is it publishable? Not everybody is going to have to publish the research, but is it publishable or presentable, right? And so as I showed you with those 6 students before, a number of students have gone to conferences and presented their research, but some of them have actually published it in peer-reviewed academic journals. And so thinking about whether you want to go to med school, whether you want to go to grad school, whether you want to enter the workforce, these are some things that I think undergraduate research can do for you that will really, really set you up for success and make sure that by the time you graduate from the program, you have these definitely on your resume and that you'll be able to talk knowledgeably about in your interviews, whether it's for graduate school, whether it's for an employment opportunity, et cetera, for the future. Okay, last thing then. As we work through the rest of the term together, we're going to make sure that we're checking these 5 steps, right? So you're currently, by being in this class, you're going to go through the HSCI 310 process. You're going to learn all the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required to have proficiency in this area. Similarly, you'll do the same for Stats 345 next, or you might have already taken it. As part of our process throughout the term, we're going to talk about volunteer interest forms. We're going to talk about financial conflict and non-conflicts of interest forms, human subjects protection, and then biological safety training if that's applicable to your interest. We'll then, as we continue to work throughout the term, help everybody get an onboarding with Forager One, create an account if you don't already have one, start doing some research in terms of folks that are doing things in the area that you have interest in, and then getting ready to contact that mentor for possibly working in their research lab or being your mentor as part of your undergraduate research experience in the future. And so no need to really worry about all 5 steps. It's not part of the course deliverables. This will sort of happen by osmosis as we work through the course. So with that being said, I'm glad to end the video at this point in time. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me, set up a time during my office hours, or bring some of your questions to class, and I'm happy to address them in any and every way that I can. Thanks very much for your time and attention, and I look forward to working with you all this term. Bye-bye.